everyone, TalkBall Tweakers episode 50. I'm gonna throw it to Blake and Toussaint right off the bat. I'm sure they have something they want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. What I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? M block, dude. Undeniable. Partying like it's 89, son. Like it's 89. What a beautiful sight, man. I tell you what. I tell you what. Can't tell me shit. Can't tell me shit. North Carolina hired Mike Malone. I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn, man. We natty champs, boy. Natty champs. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I had to watch Michigan lose twice in the finals over the last decade. Finally getting it done. Finally getting it done.
I think that's the beauty of it all. Is like two heartbreaking losses in a national championship in the past decade, century. Like it's
That's how it felt for me with the Redeem Team or Redemption Tour rather. Like
yeah.
probably the worst loss in college basketball history, and then just going and running it back and winning it all.
Mm.
Like, yeah, nah, that's valid. Well, congratulations, us three Wolverines. We did it. We did it.
Us three.
We did it.
Us three. Yeah, I
Podcast. I have a transcript from the University of Michigan. I will not show that transcript because I do not want to embarrass myself. Uh, with that, yeah, we're going to talk end of college basketball season. Their Wolverines are not the only team to be making moves. The North Carolina Tar Heels have a new head coach, and then the NBA season is over. So we're going to do it all. And maybe baseball, probably not baseball because the Mets suck. But anyway,
So do the
let's
Tigers. Don't
facts.
yeah,
worry.
yeah.
Facts.
It's
We're all
been all right.
Mariners fans.
No, you guys
But
don't suck. You guys have an actually decent record. We're the last in our division and we suck.
yeah, you guys might suck more than we do. But
No,
like,
we do.
yeah, but then we'll do the Giants or the Jets Lions exchange. Like, oh, we could play this game. My teams are garbage. Anyway, let's talk.
Talk
Talk ball.
ball.
All right. For the first time since 1989, the Michigan Wolverines are national champions. Michigan pretty much belted everyone this season until they got to UConn, and they still beat UConn by pretty commanding fashion. What were your guys' thoughts on just, I guess, the game, Michigan season, and all that?
I mean, just to add on to what I've already said, I think it was just a beautiful ending, man. Especially for somebody who, like, I was talking to somebody a couple days ago. Obviously, I'm in New York working, and he knew I was from Michigan, and so he was like, "You must be feeling pretty good right now." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel great." And so, but I was telling him like it was just so cool to watch for me because it was like. In terms of like basketball, obviously, I love the NBA and all of that, but like college sports has been, my favorite thing to watch since I was a kid. And I've enjoyed it more than watching professional sports. I think as I get older, I start to lean towards professional sports, but like as a younger kid, like that was my thing. So with basketball, like it was, watching Michigan basketball, like it was just especially during the years of like Trey Burke and Glenn Robinson and Nick Stauskas, and then you transition over to like Charles Matthews and Mo Wagner and Franz Wagner and Jordan
Muhammad
Poole,
Ali Abdul Rahman. That's my
Muhammad
favorite.
Ali, Abdul
That's my
Rahman,
favorite
Derek
Michigan player of
Walton,
all time right
All
there.
three of
John
us have seen our
Teskey,
teams lose to
like
Villanova in the Natty.
you
Yeah.
feel me, John Teskey. So it was like I think for me, it was like, we had so many good teams. As a Michigan fan, you had so many good teams as a kid, and like watching, the Beeline era and how many good teams he had and how good of a coach he was and how far they would go in the March Madness tournament and it's just how good they were in March, like how good they were in March. And it was like that was to finally cap it all off. And like Toussaint mentioned in the beginning of the episode, like, you know, watching 2013 and that was a heartbreaking loss. And then the scandal comes out and they had to Louisville had to vacate their title and was like, we could have won that one. And there were some questionable calls in that game, if anybody remembers that 2013 game. And then going against Villanova
Bro,
and
I
what was that,
hated Peyton Silva. I hated Peyton
2018.
Silva.
Yeah, you know,
Hayden Silver.
so
Hated him
What a
because he was so
name.
good.
so it was like just to finally watch a Michigan basketball national championship because we got a football one a few years ago to finally get a basketball one. Just beautiful. So that was kind of just my takeaway as a Michigan fan. As a sports fan, as watching basketball, I mean, from the beginning of the year, we seen how dominant this Michigan team was. We seen how well they played offensively, how well they played together, and then we seen how nasty they were on the defensive side of the ball. And just, all the Ken Palm numbers and people talking about, this is one of the best basketball teams in Ken Palm era and Ken Palm history. Like, and we finally seen that, especially in the Arizona game. We had the discussion and everybody had the discussion. Like, that was arguably supposed to be the best game of the tournament. And Michigan went in there from tip off and whooped their ass. And that was, I mean, to me, that was in terms of like NCAA tournament games and Final Four games and top teams going at it. That was one of the worst aspects I've seen in a long time, a long time. So I think for them to finally cap it off, it's like it's just it's. I think when the buzzer hit and like I was watching the confetti fall and them on stage, it was like that was such a dominant run that they went on this year, and probably one of the most dominant runs we've seen in college basketball in, like I said, a long, long time. So I think it was just, kind of a little foreshadowing a little bit because, like I said, we seen it in the beginning of the year. We seen flashes of it, like them whooping Gonzaga's ass and obviously them whooping Auburn's ass, but Auburn not turning out to be, as good as we thought they were going to be. But you've seen it, as they stacked very good quality wins as the season went on, how good this team was, and they capped it off with a dominant run. And averaging 90 in the NCAA tournament is crazy, crazy, crazy work. So,
Yeah, I think it just spoke to how the team was put together. Because I really looked at all the players, and when I looked at all of them side by side, especially the starting five, and then you go into the bench, this is probably the most traditional lineup I've seen in a while come out of college basketball. And by traditional, I mean usually back in early 2000s, 90s, you have your traditional 1 through 5. You have your point guard, Ellie Cadeau, is a guy that can score 20 or he can have 15 assists if he really wanted to. You got your two guard, Amari Burnett. He's a classic two. He's going to be this guy 3 and D, the Klay Thompson type build. And you got Yaxel. His name is the Dominican LeBron. So that you had that there. And then you get Morris Johnson, who was a power, he was a center for Illinois, but he's a small center, right? In the grand scheme of things. So you make him a power forward. He doesn't really shoot the three much. He works within 15 feet and he's dominant in that range, especially cleaning up the boards. That's what power forwards do. Then you have your center. Traditional back to the basket 7-3 center that just dominated everybody. So I thought it was just brilliant how the lineup was put together. And then you go to the bench, you have your shooter, Will Cheddar, you have glue guys, you have the backup guards who can bring a spark off the bench. Like you have guys to fill in that roster. And then I also think one other thing I'll say is that I noticed a switch with Michigan. They've been elite all year long. That is undeniable. But when they got to the Big Ten tournament, they were running through people. And then they played Purdue in the last game and they lost within the last couple minutes. And one thing that stuck to me, I was like, I don't know if they can do a run if they're going to be losing to Purdue. But then what happened was I watched the Howard game. The first half, they kept it close because they weren't doing everything they were supposed to do. They weren't dominant on the glass. They weren't posing their will. They came out at halftime, and I swear from that moment on, Adai Mara realized, shit, I'm 7-3. I'm just gonna abuse everybody that wants to go up against me. He was dominant too. Like he's the one guy that, every he does get love, of course, but he doesn't get enough of the love that he deserves because I just felt like he genuinely saw the guy who was guarding him and just dominated. And so that was the whole thing about the Arizona game was I was like, this is a perfect matchup for Arizona. Krivas got worked. Uh, the guard play, I mean, I like Burries and I like Bradley, but for the star power what Michigan had, it wasn't enough. And, I felt the Koa Pete Yaxel thing was going to be a huge thing. It did not matter. Koa Pete was a non-factor within the grounds of, scoring points to a certain degree. So for me, it just stemmed from Michigan's dominance. And I think they realized that. I think during the regular season, obviously you play close battles and you're going to win if you're the better team. But to be that dominant, that imposing throughout the entire tournament, it was like, oh, they're not just beating the hell out of 16 seeds. They're beating the hell out of like 2 seeds, guys that are
Best teams in
just
the country.
teams that are just behind them, right, in terms of the rankings. And so you get to Arizona, it's supposed to be a bloodbath. In fact, it's a massacre. You just laid them all out. And so, props to them. Of course, obviously, this breeds more success because now they got transfer portal people coming in. Just got JP Estrella today, which is big news for
Yeah,
Michigan. But
boy.
I mean, and if you look at the recruiting class, they have another 7'3" center coming through, right?
Hello.
You got numerous guards coming through. They just said Juke Harris from Wake Forest was meeting, so he won. So now it's just going to repeat itself in terms of Michigan is now at that point where they have found the next beeline, but better, who can recruit better and get even more out of his players. So yeah, just the whole thing that you said, very poetic about coming from the 2010s and watching them lose and watching a bench player for Villanova give us 30 in the national championship game was brutal.
Hmm.
That was nasty work. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the Arizona game. Then I watched the pre or the post game highlights and stuff. But off rip that game, when I walked out of the stadium because I was at a concert and saw the score was 72-45, I had to double check it like 3 times. Like it just didn't feel real for me because I was speaking like Arizona was the team of destiny this entire time. Big 12 winners, tournament, regular season, they passed everything. It was Michigan that's the team of destiny this year. You talk about how they beat everyone in dominant fashion, going back to the Players Invitational where they beat Gonzaga. I forgot the 2 other teams they beat. I think Tennessee and one more. They didn't only beat them, they fucked them respectfully. And like the question with Michigan was like, when LJ Kason got hurt and they were less dominant, people were just like, okay, maybe they're losing steam. But then Michigan belted everyone. And they belted everyone up to the national championship, one of the most dominant runs we've seen in the NCAA tournament. And then they do what they were best at this year, which is defense. And I'm not saying they were better at defense than offense, but statistically, they were the best ever defensive team on KenPom. And they held Danny Hurley and the two-time defending national champions, not defending, I guess, whatever, to 63 points. And whenever UConn would fight back, Michigan would just go, no, you're not coming back. They'd hit a three on the offensive end. The Trey McKinney one with less than 2 minutes to go was obviously the dagger. And then you go, yeah, no, this Michigan team, they were going to win it. I'm not going to say they were going to win it this entire time, but it felt like they were that team of destiny. And on the Dusty May standpoint, 2 years ago when UConn was on their second run to the national championship, so this team Klingon, Castle, Newton, all them. They played in Brooklyn, right? And they were the 1 seed, obviously. They were waiting the winner of the 8-9 matchup. The 8 seed was FAU. The 9 seed was Northwestern, right? This FAU team just made the Final Four. And people were just like, why are they an 8 seed? All that. It would have been May versus Hurley in the round of 32. Then May lost to Northwestern. I'm not only saying that to say Northwestern played a role, but that was Dusty May's last game as Michigan. I mean at FAU. Stick with me here. And he was the center of all the Michigan rumors at the time. Michigan just fired Jawan, and people were screaming, "Oh yeah, have fun in Ann Arbor, Dusty." And then Dusty gets to meet Hurley finally in the NCAA tournament on the bigger stage and say, "You're not the dynasty. We're the powerhouse, and we're gonna beat you." And I'm going to be one of the best Michigan coaches ever because in only year 2, he won the national championship. And like Toussaint, you said traditional team. Like, I'm not going to push back on that because I agree. Like, they sort of embody it. It's almost untraditional, the fact that they were all transfers. But like, this team was so different and so dominant and just like so memorable. Like, I think when, like, if you ask a Michigan fan in 10 years, who are you going to remember more? The 2024 football team or the 2026 basketball team, both of whom took like dormant powerhouses and both dominated, I think the basketball team's got to be more memorable just because of how they were able to beat people. And then again, like we'll have this conversation when we're sipping on wine and whiskey on 30s with our wives, but like that's how I view it and stuff. Like Dusty Mays and Monster, this team was just insane, and the best team won. The best team won, and it wasn't close.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very long answer. Had to get Northwestern in there.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Never.
But I guess like going on the college basketball route, right? We could do next year predictions, we could do all that stuff, but doesn't make sense yet. Let's talk about the biggest move, not Michigan. The University of North Carolina has hired a new head coach. Mike Malone from the Denver Nuggets, or I guess he's not a Denver Nugget when they hired him, but former head coach of the Denver Nuggets, won the NBA championship with Denver in 2023. And now hasn't taken a coaching job in college since 2001. Takes the University of North Carolina job. What are our thoughts on that and what it means for the University of North Carolina and I guess college basketball?
Well, I think see, I got the news when I think it was either you, Jake, or Lunga texted our group chat and said something about like Mike Malone, like, oh my gosh, something like that.
It was Toussaint.
And
It was Toussaint
so,
first.
oh, okay. So one of you guys texted in the group chat. That's how I got the news. And when you guys texted, I was like, oh, I was like, that was my first reaction was I didn't look at what was going on. I just seen the Mike Malone text and it wasn't Mike Malone to UNC. It was literally just Mike Malone. I said, oh my God, Mike Malone's the next head coach at the at North Carolina. So that was my initial reaction. I wasn't surprised by the hiring. Um, but I have like a 50-50 outlook on this hiring. Like I
And we
don't
know the last time Blake said something was 50-50 went well.
I,
No, you continue, continue.
We gotta pull that back up. We gotta get like rewind the tape to show that.
Sorry,
He
I
said,
had to. I had
I
to.
swear it's 50-50."
no, but so with this one, I don't love the hiring, but I also don't hate the hiring as well. I'll start with why I don't hate it. I think that Mike Malone can go in to college. Like, okay, we haven't seen Mike Malone as a head coach in college basketball. We've seen him. An assistant in his early years of coaching. He was an assistant. One that I like to shout out is at Oakland under Greg Campy. Great coach there and what he's doing at Oakland. And that's, he was an assistant under Greg Campy, like at Oakland and went to, I think it was like Providence and whatever case may be. Like he's been a few places as an assistant early on in his career. And then he jumped to the NBA and he's been in the NBA since like 2001. So that's my first thing is like college basketball is such a different animal, especially now in the era that we're in. Um, so it's like I'm not mad at the hiring because I think Mike Malone can jump down and I think that he can become a guy who obviously he's a coach that started in the big leagues where people were getting paid and he knows how to deal with players who were getting paid a lot of money and usually now in the era that we're in with college basketball, it's easier for coaches to come from the NBA down to the college level to coach. It's now harder for college level coaches to go up to the NBA because they're used to, you know, all of the traditional rules and things like that. That's why, Bill Self is still at Kansas. That's why Calipari's still in college. And he even said on the on ESPN Game Day the other day, like he can't go to the NBA and be the same coach that he is in college. Like he just can't do it. So um, like I think that Mike Malone as I think a guy who was very NBA mindset like he can go down and he can do that with the new rules and the new era of NIL and things like that. I just there's something about it though that I'm just like I don't know, like I don't know. It's just like he's never been a head coach at the college basketball level. So that's where my hesitation lies with it. Um, usually like we've seen, usually guys that are in the NBA, like they were head coaches in college first and then jumped to the NBA. And now they come back to college. Like that's usually what we get. So for him to never be a college coach, I'm wary on it. I hate to throw out that, the Bill Belichick hiring that North Carolina did with the football team has a little rub off on this a little bit here, like a professional
Be
coach
careful with the word rub off.
a professional coach who won a ring in the big leagues and now is in college, like, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just mixed reviews on it. I also don't know how like college, kids are viewing Mike Malone. Like I assume a lot of them, know he's a great coach and stuff like that. It's just, with college, it's also like relating to these kids a lot, and you have to like really, really care about them, and you have to relate to them in a little bit, and figure out how to like, coach them to be men. It's like, can Mike Malone do that? He's been dealing with grown ass men his whole life, so it's like, can he go and coach and teach a kid, this is deeper than basketball, and teach him life while also trying to, teach him basketball and get to a national championship. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
you go, you go.
I
Because
was,
my thing's gonna be long, so you go.
okay, pause.
Hmm.
I think that
This has been a zesty podcast. Like, and it's my fault, but like,
So like, oh, your fault.
No, I think the underlying things about coaching college will still be there, even though it has been more than 2 decades. Um, College is now. I talked about how they now they have a GM. They got one a couple years ago, so I think in working with him, he'll be fine. I mean, the other thing also is that you're getting the best talent off the name alone. So it's not like he's just going to like Providence and now he really has to hustle for some 5-star, 4-star players. He's at UNC. All you have to sell is the history, right? So that's basically what you have to do. Go ahead. What is it?
And I have a quick no, I just have a quick question because the GM aspect that you bring up, I fully agree with that in terms of like a lot of teams now do have GMs, but I thought that's just football though, that usually because Calipari was up on game day talking about college basketball doesn't really have GMs. I don't know if he was just talking about his program or not.
basketball is a little less like it's the GM's more for football, especially those really big football programs.
Yeah.
With basketball, I don't want to say the athletic director is more involved than the GM, but the coach does have a little more leeway, like versus Belichick going to Michael Lombardi, for example, who's the UNC
Yeah.
football GM. Like basketball, they have it, but it's a little bit different, I guess, just because the roster construction's smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also do know that the reason we may have talked about when he got fired, the reason why is because he wasn't in coalition with the GM of the Nuggets. That's the whole reason why the owner fired him was like the both of them were on not on speaking terms, and you can't have that GM. And so I think he's gonna be fine in that aspect. He should have learned from that and said, we have to be on the same path, or one of us is gonna be gone. And if I'm not winning with what he's giving me, then it's most likely gonna be the coach. Or it could be both of them again. I don't know. But the thing is, I just think that he also has an easy sell in the fact that, I coached and I won a championship 3 years ago and I coached the best player in the league. And you're a 5-star player. If you just do what I say, I'm gonna get you to the league. Off, like I said, off the face alone that it's UNC and I'm Michael Malone. Um, I mean, it's gonna be easy for him, I think, to some degree. He's gonna have to learn some things on the fly, obviously. Like you said, it's a different animal, but I think the coaching alone, he'll be fine. And again, all he has to do is walk up to a 5-star and, I'm Michael Malone, I'm with UNC. Do you want to come hoop for me or not? We'll give you that bag. And that's all you gotta
Exactly.
say. It's
Yeah,
not
no.
I was just
Oh,
gonna say
keep going.
it's not like this is the last thing I was gonna say. It's not like Belichick where basketball is a lot easier to recruit because you're only grabbing certain positions and then you're also getting from the portal. So it's like it's a combination of things. You don't have to recruit as many people. With football, you got to fill out offense, the defense. You got to work with two coaches on both sides of the ball. Then you got to work with people. So it's like easier than what Belichick has to go through.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Belichick stuff I think is mostly joke, but you can't be like, yeah, it's happening. The thing that I push back on that a little, even though it's valid, is UNC basketball is not UNC football, and Mike Malone's not Bill Belichick. You're taught like UNC football is a program that has never been elite. And like with the 72-year-old coach, like if a guy wants to go to Michigan or Ohio State, why would he go to North Carolina sometimes? But anyway, that's not why we're here. UNC basketball is one of, if not the most historic college basketball program ever. I think all the pushbacks on Mike Malone not coaching college are completely valid. Because it's a very different thing. You talk about his roster construction in the NBA, right? That was mostly Calvin Booth with the transactions. I don't really remember exactly what the Nuggets did that year to put them really over the top outside of Jokic. I mean, Murray was great. They drafted Christian Braun.
They're
I'm not
really
gonna
just
wrap.
the best. They're really just the best team in the
They were
West at
just
that
like
time.
ridiculous. Like I MPJ, Brooklyn Net. Yes. Um, anyway, no, I think they're all valid points. I think one thing that really stood out to me in the presser was that Mike Malone said like this was the only college job I'd consider because a college job is very different than an NBA job in all those aspects that we were talking about, right? I think on the one non-negotiable when talking about Michael Malone in this job, he's a damn good coach and he knows how to bring out the best in his players. And look at number 15, he's not going to win the MVP, but like the three-time MVP. And that's why a lot of Carolina fans on Twitter, including me when I'm not trying to report, or even if I was a reporter, it's just like you go to Henry Visar, say, here's a check of $2 million. Look what I did to Nikola Jokic. You're coming back and not going to the draft because Visar is going to be a second rounder. Why not come back to North Carolina and become one of the best players in the country because he was good this year? Um, it's interesting to hear about North Carolina's coaching search because I'm sure you guys saw too. There was a little bit of a rift, apparently reported rift. Billy Donovan was apparently possible, but they couldn't talk to Billy Donovan until April 12th, but the portal would have been open. There's obviously the Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd stuff. If it's true that both Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd denied contracts to stay with their programs, major props to them because like at this point, why would you leave Arizona or Michigan to go to North Carolina? Those teams are just as historic besides like the number of banners, but history is just like a fan bantering point at this point. The one more thing I'd say is like, yeah, you guys said it perfectly. His goal is to bring Carolina back to this level of an elite program. And you're seeing right now in college basketball, it's not only the name, it's elite coaches who are the elite programs. You're talking about Dusty May bringing out the best in his players. You're talking about Dan Hurley. These are teams that maybe weren't as widely respected a few years ago, and they're winning it. And I think when you looked at Carolina with Hubert Davis, blown lead in the national championship, blown lead this year, the obviously missed the tournament, starting his preseason number one. Carolina had all this stuff. They had all the flashy stuff. The one thing was they weren't coached that well. And now, like that's the one non-negotiable with Michael Malone. And if Michael Malone goes to UNC and he has this rift with the players and he doesn't coach them well, please come back to this. But I think we could all agree that's going to be his thing. Blake, I like what you said too. Like creating relationships with the players is such a huge thing. You pray like as a college basketball coach, you're pretty much a general manager too. And the players, like it's a family, not only at Carolina, anywhere. So I'm interested to see how he does that. Yeah, there's nothing more than just interested right now. Like, there's so much theoreticals. They're gonna get a few transfers. Like, if Drew Karras doesn't go to Michigan, he's going to North Carolina. They're gonna get someone else. So it's gonna be fun to see. And they have someone that could coach and someone that's competent. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else to add on the Michael Malone hire, or I think we covered it.
No.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with North Carolina. I'm sure you'll hear it from me or something. Um, anything else college basketball related before we want to switch to the not trying league, not trying until the playoffs? Not joking. All right, let's just get into the NBA. I'm gonna just throw a layup right here. The Detroit Pistons have clinched the number one seed for the first time since, gosh, '06, something like that. You guys would know the year better. The Pistons are the one seed in the East. The Thunder are the one seed in the West. Are both those teams we all could all agree are the favorites? Who is the biggest threat to the Thunder and the Pistons, respectively? And if you guys needed a second to think,
Not
I
even a
could.
question for me is
Yeah,
Spurs.
I think you know who it is. So
Not
yeah,
even
go
a
for it.
question. It's so funny because at the beginning of the year we picked you. I think Jake picked Thunder still.
I
Or is
picked
it
Thunder Knicks.
Thunder
That was my
Knicks?
final.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my final.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we haven't seen a repeat winner in 7 years, and I get that obviously like, this could be the first time. It's gonna happen eventually. Um, but when we get that 1 versus 2 Western Conference Finals, and it's Shea and it's Wemby going off, I'm that's gonna be some of the best playoff basketball since Braun and Steph. Like that's the gonna be one of the best head to heads. Uh, I mean, what can't you say about Wemby? And the thing that I'm going to be watching for is if he hits another year. First round, he can kind of not chill, but kind of coast a little bit in some games, right? Whoever they're playing, they're going to beat pretty handily without him scoring 30 per game. Then the next round, I just need to see him step it up, average like 22, have a little 17, 5, and 2, something crazy. And then when I see him get to the Thunder, I want to see him drop incredible numbers, like a 30 game. Something like that. If he dropped like 30 and 30, he might be in the top 10 alone off that.
Hmm.
Um no, but I just think it's the Spurs. They have the best roster construction. They match up well with them, with the Thunder. They have their good stars, Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Vassell. Um, and they just have guys that come off the bench that are good. Cornette's a good backup center. He's a good solid backup center. You got guys that like can match up well. So I would have to say the Spurs. And Wemby's taking that leap. He might snatch a few balls out of the air from SGA. SGA might try and do a little push off sidestep, and it's gonna get ugly. So I mean, we're not predicting yet who's gonna win the finals or who we have at the finals, but
That'll be next week once we have the bracket.
all right. Well, I already know who I'm picking. I already know.
Um, Blake, before you go, I'm not going to add too much on the Spurs either. One thing that I wanted to say was like last time we spoke about the Spurs was like we said experience is going to matter. I'm gonna push back on my original take because look, experience can mean everything or it can mean nothing. And when you watch the Spurs, they really do look like a group of veterans, even though all of them are 26 or younger. And when we were in the studio and talking about the Thunder in their first championship run, our consensus was pretty much that like you wouldn't beat the Thunder unless you had an alien on your team. Well, there's an alien on their team, so it'll make for a great series. Spurs Thunder was a budding rivalry in the early 2010s when there was Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker, and then the big three with the Thunder. And you could blame a man named Kevin for the reason that didn't happen. And by the way, just because I'm looking at the standings, I really want that guy named Kevin to play the Thunder in the second round because he's never played the Thunder in a playoff series. Um, but the Spurs are legit. Like, look, we could talk about our picks another time. The Spurs are much more legit than I thought they'd be at this point of the season, and Wemby might be the best naturally talented player I've ever seen. So, yeah, are you picking anyone else in the West besides the Spurs? Are you going to pick our glorious king and Mr. Spanish Luca?
You're
I'm
out of
definitely.
luck.
No, I mean I agree with there's not really much to add there. The Spurs have had OKC's number all year long, and I think in the playoff series it could get detrimental for for the Thunder. I still like I mean if you ask me, obviously I'm still gonna pick OKC. I'm not gonna go against them. If the playoff bracket were to come out tomorrow and those two were to play and or end up playing at some point, like I'm gonna pick OKC, but. No, San Antonio, I would not be surprised if San Antonio beats them in a 7 game series. Like you mentioned, like you've got to have somebody special to beat this other team in 7 games, and they've got somebody, and that's Wemby. So, yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, their team clicks very well. Adding in like De'Aaron Fox and then adding in, Dylan Harper as well, like it kind of just, was. I don't know how to describe that, but it's like you just added, good to great. Or you added great to good, I guess I could say, like that's what it is with those two. But yeah, I mean San Antonio's got it. Absolutely. 100%. Nobody else. I'm not gonna go LA. Fuck no. I'm not going LA. I mean with them it's just injuries, of course. That's just it's tough for them, honestly. Can't stay healthy, so yeah. And then what did we say? We said we're gonna go east, right?
Yeah, let's do the East too. Two Pistons fans actually. So who scares you guys the most out of the, I mean, it's gonna be one of the three teams, I'm assuming. Who's
I've already, yeah,
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 it's
who's scared?
I've
Oh
already said.
yeah.
them boys up north. Them boys on up north that wear green.
Oh, okay.
No, not Toronto, not
I
Toronto.
was
Not
like,
not
huh?
not not the
I was just like,
Raptors.
dude, Scotty Barnes scares people, but not for that. Um,
No, people on the East Coast.
Yeah, Boston for sure. Boston, absolutely Boston. Boston, see, like we have had this conversation on the pod before, like, and I'm gonna restate what I said. Boston has almost had Detroit's number all year long. It's either we skid by them or we lose to Boston. And we haven't played him with Jason Tatum yet. So, and Jason Tatum's shown he's came back and he's like, this is my shit. Jaylen Brown's up for an MVP, but no, they gotta remind motherfuckers this is my team. Okay. So no, like them getting Jason Tatum back and him being, the production he's getting is scary. Scary, scary, scary. So yeah, no, it's absolutely Boston. Um, I think that Boston could very well end back up in the finals. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but um, as of right now, though, Detroit's number one, and we're gonna find out in a few weeks, about a month or two maybe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Boston
I
scares
think
me.
Malice is going to be ready, dude. Malice at the Palace.
Malice. And one more thing I was gonna add that I think I'm not gonna say that this is a threat to Detroit, but I am going to say that this is a threat to anybody in the playoffs. That the Charlotte Hornets are a nasty, nasty basketball
Dude,
team. And
dude,
said this
I
a few
made fun
weeks
of you
ago.
guys.
I said this a few weeks ago, and you guys were talking shit, shitting on me. But Charlotte is a nasty, nasty basketball team. So watch
Bro,
out for them. That's all I gotta
No,
say.
next year, because we'll face them in, and you're gonna understand we're gonna have to face them in
round
round
one.
one.
We might, yeah, we might.
You guys should
No,
I
come
mean, you
visit.
got to think about it though. You got to think about it though, is they have to what be in the play-in for us to face them.
yeah, but whoever
So
you're if you're talking that hot shit, they're gonna beat whoever. They're gonna beat who Magic, who else
Right
would
now, they're
be
the 9 seed. They're right behind Philly, a game behind Philly for the 8 seed. So right now they play Miami and then have to beat the loser of that game. But I think they're gonna pass Philly because Joel Embiid has appendicitis. Can't even say it
yeah.
without laughing.
I mean, they could sneak into the 6th seed there and not be in the play-in.
Yeah, they
I,
could. They very well could.
they could. I doubt it. I doubt it. They could.
My
I
one
Um,
pushback, yeah,
and it
sorry,
ain't
I'll let you
50
talk
and
about
it
it.
ain't 50-50.
My one pushback with the Hornets, dude, like the Hornets, like defensively, their rating is not good at all. And on a
Yeah,
cold,
Yeah,
no,
because name one person on that team that likes defense.
no,
bro,
they got
Khan loves defense. That's
Khan's a very good defensive player,
They
absolutely.
have Kalkbrenner, but that's it. What are they getting the white guys to do the defense for
Yeah,
them?
I mean, look, we saw this during the fight, and we saw this during just the games they played against the Pistons. What's stopping JB Bickerstaff from going, Cade, just give the ball to Jalen every play, and Jalen don't throw a punch, and then we're good, and we'll win them in four. Like, that's my one thing with the Hornets. But
Here's our
dude,
secret.
they're good. They're nasty. Like, if they play the Pistons, you guys should come down. Like, I'm going
Here,
off script. Come visit. I got a couch.
here's the secret plan. If things start getting out of hand, we got a guy on the bench that will crash out so hard he'll hit somebody. So we just put him in the game and go after somebody.
Right?
It's like 2000 was it the 2003 Saints?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. Um, Toussaint, do you want to go first on who's the biggest threat outside the Pistons, or you want me to? Do you think you agree it's Boston?
I agree with Boston. I just think they have a psychopath for a coach that instills defense into their souls. Like that's what it's like. Like he actually is the only coach that frightens me when it comes to like going up against because all these other teams not physically imposing. The Knicks, Sixers, Raptors, any of those, Cleveland, they're all soft, all of them, except for the Celtics. Celtics will meet you where you're at. They have all these role players playing way beyond their skis, and the stars already play at an elite level. The guy tore his Achilles less than a year ago, and he's already back to like 70% of what he is, which is scary. Um, so yeah, Missoula going up against our, defense for defense. Missoula's gonna be tweaking if he if he plays us. But I'm so glad we won't have to face them except for the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I'm glad that the Knicks get that matchup again, and then we can get the leftovers of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do think it's the Celtics. Let me make this very clear. I do think it's the Celtics. I think the Knicks have a chance to make the finals too.
Okay.
I think the Knicks and Cavs both do, but they're below them. On the Knicks, all right. One Knicks Celtics round two is going to be awesome if and when that's a second round matchup. But then again, dude, like you guys might play the Knicks in the second round, even though the Knicks have the head to head over the Cavs. I'm trying to do math because the Knicks and Celtics play tonight when we're recording this. Um, the Knicks are one of the streakiest teams in the league, man. They've gone on like multiple 7 game winning streaks. You obviously know what Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and all them bring, and they're built to beat Boston. And look, I could go, they beat Boston last year, and people go, but Tatum tore his Achilles, but also they won 2 games with
Yeah,
Tatum,
they were gonna win
both in
without
Boston.
him. They were gonna win anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so like the Knicks are built to beat the Celtics, and like someone said to me, the Knicks beat the Pistons last year, completely different Pistons team in every aspect, of course, but the Knicks are still a very good basketball team. Brunson is ridiculously scary in the playoffs, and I don't want to say they have something to prove because I don't like that, but like if this isn't the year for the Knicks, when's going to be the year for
So
the Knicks?
I
Because yeah.
go, go ahead, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if this isn't the year for the Knicks, like, it's not gonna get better next year if they're gonna run it back. They could swing for Giannis, and if they don't get Giannis, like, the Pistons are getting better, the Celtics are getting better, the Cavs are gonna get better, the Pacers are gonna be right back in it. You gotta imagine the Sixers, Hornets, Magic, Raptors, Hawks, all of them try to take a step forward. What's the Knicks plan? So it sort of feels like this has to be the year for them, and it's not an easy path at all. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was just gonna add. I was just gonna say, like, I feel like they kind of do have some pressure here because it's like you've got all these teams in the East that are going to get better, but also it's pressure on them because it's they haven't been able to get over that hump of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's like, can you now get the job done and go to the finals? And then on top of that, we've been talking about the past couple of seasons, past couple of years, and honestly, historically with this Knicks team is like it's can you get out of the Eastern Conference Finals? Can you win the Eastern Conference Finals? That another hurdle is winning the NBA Finals. So if we're talking about you getting out of the Eastern Conference Finals, you like there's pressure there because then if even if you do that, now you've got to go somewhere where historically your team has not been in a long time and is not used to that environment is the NBA Finals. So I would argue that they absolutely have a lot of pressure on them to get it done. And then to add to your point is I love that you brought up like they're a streaky team. They will go on runs and then they will also go on losing streaks. So it's like in the playoffs and postseason, what Knicks team are we going to get? We're
The
going to
thing
get the
that
streaky one. We're going to get the one that is winning all these games in a row, or are we going to get the one that you can't make a basket?
Um, in response, okay, first I like to say that the thing that scares me about them is the fact that we swept them in the regular season, and the last time we played them, we kicked their ass like badly. So
Fully done.
I think they're
Yeah.
taking that to heart because we voiced our frustration with them and how much we really want the smoke. And I think they understand that, so they're probably going to bring their A game, knowing that we're going to be headhunting. In response to you talking about what was it? Oh, I can't even remember what you were talking about now. What did you just talk
Pressure.
about? Yeah, I mean, the thing with them is that I like this team. How do I say this? Even if this team gets to the finals, I don't see them beating the Spurs or the Thunder still. And that pretty much goes for almost anybody in the East. But I don't see how, because they keep doing this year after year, where they keep running it back and it doesn't work. They change a coach, it doesn't work. Like this roster has limitations. It has reached its ceiling. It is up
Yeah.
to if they make the right play at the right times now. Because you can't get any more, you can't maximize anything from this roster anymore. Bridges, you traded a whole bunch of firsts for him, so that basically sold your future. You don't have a number two penciled in scorer that with without a doubt will get you 20 on any given night. Because Cat is like that. He can get you 20 on any given night, but sometimes he just stops shooting, or he decides to not put the ball in the hoop, or he decides that he's not bigger than the player he's going up against. So I just don't see them getting it done again. Because then again, like you said, next year the Pacers will be right back in it. Who knows if the Magic take a step? Like you just never know. But I mean, I don't really feel like they have pressure because at the end of the day, like they have the pressure, but it doesn't mean anything. Like if they lose again, they lose again. They haven't been to the championship since '73. So what's more of failure? I mean, we can do fire another coach for nothing. So the only other option if they don't make it to the finals is to trade for Giannis.
Thank
That's the
you.
clear cut next step. You
It's
have
the
to
only thing
you
they could do.
have you have to ante up the point. You have to get every single major resource. You tax the people that work in the front office, give some of your salary back and give it to Giannis because you have to do everything. Give your firstborn child to the Bucks if you have to. Trade for Giannis because you literally have nothing else after that. You can't. No other front office person is going to get more. No other coach can squeeze out any more talent. The players are the players, so you're gonna have to trade away half the team and then rejuvenate, trade for some players, right? Or do something. Because if Giannis is off the market and you don't get him, he's going to the West. That's where he's going. He's going to the Knicks or he's going to the West. And then you just create another Goliath of a monster that you could have had. So um yeah, get OG if you have to if you have to trade OG, trade OG. That's probably their selling point. But if you gotta trade OG, trade OG.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about the Knicks that much more, but I was thinking that until you said it. That's what I wanted to say. Like, it just really feels like if the Knicks don't get it done this year, Giannis, or unless some other superstar of top 25 caliber becomes available, it really feels like the Knicks are fading a little. Like the Villanova stuff, great. The Cat stuff, great. Those were all fun. And I think a lot of Knicks fans overvalue that because of how bad the team was. Like we're talking about the 2015 Knicks. God, they were fucking awful. Excuse the language. But anyway, like with all these teams getting better, it really feels like the only way for the Knicks to keep this up is if they get Giannis because I mean, people will do all these hypotheticals, but like look at the sample. The Celtics might dog the Knicks this year. The Pistons dominated them, and even if the Knicks get by them, they're not beating the Thunder. And so then it becomes how are you going to win the NBA championship with the best player you've had since Carmelo Anthony? And so that's just really interesting. Let's stick on the NBA track outside of like the top seeds, right? So like outside of the Thunder and Spurs in the West and outside of those three in the East, who is like the biggest threat to go not necessarily all the way, but who's going to give like the toughest battle, if that makes sense? I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase it.
Charlotte Hornets.
Hmm. Yeah.
Charlotte
Yeah.
Hornets,
I'm
boy.
not going to joke anymore, bro. I'm not.
Charlotte Hornets. I'm telling y'all. Not
I'll take you up on that next year, but I can't do that
I
this.
think I think obviously if they play Detroit, like it's that's a death wish and they're cooked. But they get anybody else, watch out. They could very well do it. That's all I'm gonna say. Um no, I mean I think realistically, like Houston, like the Houston Rockets could be dangerous. I think Minnesota can be dangerous then if Ant can get healthy. It all relies on him, especially we just seen what Terrence Shannon Jr. did last night, 33 in 30
Bro,
minutes
he's
off
tough.
the bench. Minnesota could be very well there if Ant is fully healthy. So, um, I think those are yeah, I think those teams really is the ones I look out for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a 180 from this was something I said a year ago that if the Thunder played LeBron and Luka in a playoff series, they would be scared and the Lakers could possibly beat him. I'm going to go complete 180 here and say out of the six teams that have clinched playoff berths, the Lakers are the one team that I don't think will make that deep of a run. The Nuggets are scary because of one man named Nikola. The Rockets are scary because of Kevin. And the Timberwolves are scary because we know what the Timberwolves are. And it feels like the Lakers are the one team that it's lagging there. If I had to pick one of those three teams that I mentioned, yeah, I'd go the Nuggets. And a Nuggets Spurs, by the way. Nuggets Spurs in the second round if the Nuggets hold on to the sixth seed. Yeah, that's an awesome series. I mean, yeah, you literally can't write it any better. And the winner gets a shot at the Thunder. The Nuggets almost beat the Thunder last year. Um, I just wanted to take my shot at the Lakers and go complete 180 from where we stood a year ago when we were just like, if this team reaches like its ceiling, it could win it all. We're not going to first take this. We're just going to say the Lakers are cooked. And if you guys don't agree with me, feel free to plead your case. But I think they are cooked.
Well,
Yeah, they are.
yeah, I mean they Luca is in a foreign country right now trying to get FDA uncertified treatments to get his hamstring to stop falling off the bone so that he can play again. That's when you know it's bad. When you're like the medicine you're receiving is not approved by the NBA, that's when you know you're totally screwed. That's when you know the season is over. Pack it up. All right. LeBron is on his way to another team. Austin Reeves has an oblique injury. There's no way you survive round one. Now, the only other team that I believe, other than the Lakers, that I don't believe in more is the Rockets. And they could still meet in the first round, which is hilarious. So you're getting a battle of trash versus garbage. Now, they're not both trash, but if they don't have it, if they're not at full power, both teams, it's hot. It's hot purple caca. I want to
The
watch
battle
that.
of the
It's
battle of trash versus garbage.
I mean, you're getting the Lakers without Luca and a 40-year-old LeBron that sometimes listen, as good as LeBron is still, he can't push out 30 points just out of nowhere anymore. Like it's very random. You can't just say, I want to score 30, I'm gonna do it. It's like, okay, I'm feeling good tonight, I'm gonna drop 30. With the Rockets, they first of all, half the things that Kevin Durant said in those leaked tweets are true. Jabari, or what's his name? Jabari Smith, he's an idiot. He can't shoot. I watch Rockets games. He's a
You
terrible
saw you
shooter.
saw KD's text.
Yo, he's an awful shooter. And then you talk about Şengün. Şengün has the lateral quickness of an 80-year-old elderly Medicaid patient. He's so slow when he can't move side to side. He can only run, front and back. So the roster is limited. All right. The Rockets, what they should have done is try to go grab Giannis in some kind of crazy effort. All right. Amen Thompson is good, but he's not a guard. You have no guard play. You're relying on a 35-year-old Kevin Durant, 37-year-old Kevin Durant. They're trying to dig you out. Yeah, that first round matchup is going to be Ump versus Ump. And it's just, all you're going to get is try to get LeBron versus KD and try and live through the old days. So, yeah, those are two teams that suck. But like I said, for me, the Thunder are the national champs. They deserve um, that benefit of the doubt. Then you have the Spurs with the greatest human being to touch a basketball right now on the planet, in my opinion. Then you have the Nuggets, then the Timberwolves, then the Lakers, then the Rockets in terms of teams that I think that are actually good in the playoffs. Seeding doesn't support that, but those are my top seven.
Yeah. No, that's valid. The one more that I wanted to say in the East, oh God, I don't even know. Like outside of the top four, I don't know if any of them are doing it. Like the Hornets are the one for me. Like Orlando, I just don't think could score with these top teams. Toronto, I just don't know what to expect. Atlanta, I haven't watched them enough, honestly. And I think like the one thing that everyone says on every sports podcast is if Philly's healthy, but we know that if Philly's healthy is not an if anymore. It's when Philly's not healthy. And so it's a shame. Like even though Joel Embiid is a very polarizing player, I actually really like him. And injuries like I look, we could talk about the injuries. They suck. Because if they were healthy, I think they'd have a chance, not maybe not this year, but in years past. But yeah, as Toussaint knows with Justin Herbert, the if man will strike over and over
Da,
again.
da,
If
da.
man.
Yeah, he's the if man of basketball.
He is the if man of basketball. But anything
The only difference between him and Justin Herbert is he has an MVP.
exactly. Hey, what if Justin Herbert wins an MVP?
If Justin Herbert wins an MVP, I will That's a great question. If Justin Herbert wins an MVP, how old is he? He's 25?
He's got to be like 26
I
now
have like
because
27.
yeah, 26,
Oh,
27.
he's 27? Oh,
He's 28.
jeez. Yo, he's like Jason Tatum for me. It's like he's still 19 to me. You know what I mean? He's still young. Nah. No, if Justin Herbert wins an MVP, I will jump off a cliff, literally. I'll do it. Locked. I'll do it. I will
Oh
jump
my
off a cliff.
gosh.
Don't
That is
worry,
all
I feel safe. He'll never win an
he said.
MVP.
I feel safe.
I feel
Mm,
pretty safe with that bet.
All right.
Now watch him win MVP next year.
yeah.
Exactly.
We're
Um,
gonna have to burn this episode if that happens.
Dog. That's the first tip I'm getting.
I think you'll be all right. Next year's MVP is Geno Smith anyway. Um, any more NBA or do we want to get
Boys out
into
the mud. We'll see you in the next episode.
Our
yeah,
chance.
anything else NBA related that we want to talk about before our next segment and final segment? I'm trying to think. I do not want to talk about the Sacramento Kings in full honesty. If you guys have thoughts about that entire thing, feel free to say it. But or this NBA tanking controversy, which I literally am a Nets fan right now, hoping the Nets lose to the Pacers. So please, more tanking in my opinion. Anything else NBA, NFL, MLB that we want to get off our chest before Tweaker of the Week? College basketball, any of it.
Nah.
Bet. All right. Tweaker of the Week.
Let's
Uh,
go.
who wants to start us off?
You gotta give me a minute. I'm trying to think.
All right,
Who
bet.
is going to start us off?
I mean, look, I don't want to take a low shot, especially at a fellow journalist, but
Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna say the name. If
No, say
nah, if the allegations are true, and if that's a possibility,
you're talking
again,
about.
major if, because a lot of it is not confirmed. Absolutely, not only tweaker of the week, tweaker of the last 5 years. I mean, insider of the year, all of that. I mean,
Oh,
different type of insider. Like,
yo,
like I literally made him go up. I just don't even know how to like approach it. But
yo, you're
that
messed up for that. And you messed up for that. Might as well just say her name at this point. Like you might as well.
fine, fine, all right, cool. Joy Taylor. No, I'm joking.
No.
Diana Rossini, and Mike Vrabel, because then again, like I'm putting a lot. I just spoke about her. Like, if the allegations are true too, like besides the fact that these two people are married, like you're an NFL coach. I don't again, like it's sort of blurred lines and all that. It's just a very interesting story to follow. As I feel, yeah, I feel like that's the best way for me to put it. I'll do one more just to get away from that weird territory, and I'll think about it. But I'll let you guys go if you guys know it.
Still thinking, like
No,
I'm
you can go
trying
ahead.
to
Do
think.
yours. Your other one.
I honestly was trying to think of my other one, but I could go. I'll go Aaron Glenn. I'll go the easy one since the last time we recorded, or maybe not the last time, he said, I think Geno Smith's going to be the quarterback that takes us to the promised land. I mean, like that. Yeah. I no, I don't know. Like, bro, I don't know who was on more drugs, him or Tiger. Like, that's how I'll leave it.
Oh boy.
That's how I'll leave it.
Um,
All right, I got one.
go
Oh,
ahead too.
mine is the people that told and kept saying that Michigan basketball was made up of mercenaries. Um, First of all, number one, Dusty May, this is his second year. When you get to a new place, you have to use the transfer portal. You can't just jump right into a team and then start recruiting and grab all these 5 stars and 4 stars. And like you have to understand that it takes time. Look at Deion Sanders at Colorado. Okay. It took him a while to get recruits because it takes a while for you to establish yourself and sell yourself as a competent place and a team where people want to go. So everyone who's saying they're mercenaries, I get that he went to the draft. But guess what? He got that ring, baby, and there's nothing you can say about it. There's nothing you can say about, oh, well, he went out and got people. That's part of college basketball is the transfer portal. That's what it's used for. All right? Elliot Cadeau, UNC basically ran him out. Namari Burnett transferred twice trying to get a place where he can stick and fit in. You get Yaxel, who was number one player in the country, or number one transfer player in the country, right? Anybody was trying to get at everybody was trying to get him. Kentucky was offering him a big payday. Alabama was getting at him. All these things are coming out. You got Morris Johnson, who was on the bench at Illinois, and then Adai who was wasting his talent at UCLA and that system. So you just get players that understand that they need a coach who's going to be able to communicate things to them, give them an opportunity, and that's what Michigan is. And also, Michigan has the number 2 recruiting class coming in this for next season. They have the number 2, and they already got a transfer portal player, and they're about to get another transfer, and they might get Juke Harris. So you never know. I just also think that people say that and get mad, and you put that in comparison to Michigan State. Dusty May won the national title in his second year. Coach Izzo is still trying to get past the Sweet 16 since 2001. All right. So I don't want to hear it, right? You can recruit all you want and nurture the kids and allow them to be great and have them play 4 years, but look where it gets you. Losses in the Sweet 16. All right. They keep losing. All right. You want to get homegrown or you want a championship. All right. Pick and choose. Don't be calling nobody Mr. March when they lose every year in March. It doesn't work that way.
Um, I guess I like kind of like mine is all right. Mine has to deal with Michigan, but it's a different side of things, and it's our friends down in Ohio. The Ohio State Buckeyes. Honestly, I don't think he's a Buckeye fan, but Ken Carman, he's like a radio talk show host in Ohio. 92.3 The Fan. I shouldn't even give them the platform. I don't even know why I said that. I shouldn't even give them the platform. But um Ken Carman, he said, quote, Ohio State fans had the better year. I know Michigan, won a national championship. That's great. Michigan can pretend to be something they're not. And he's basically pointing to how, like, oh, you guys can pretend to be a basketball school, but you're not a basketball school, you're a football school. Okay, if you're gonna say we're a football school, then why are we winning national championships in basketball? Oh, that says a lot about what we do over at Michigan, huh? That says a lot about what the Wolverines do, huh? That says a lot about the athletic program, doesn't it? It says a whole lot about what Ohio State does down there, doesn't it? And
Not to mention
Hey,
that they
hey,
might win the hockey championship too.
you said
hey,
what?
Might win the hockey championship too, bro. They're nice.
he's just crying over Roddy Gale. He saw a former Ohio State Buckeye win a
Exactly.
championship,
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
said, "Listen, Ohio State hasn't been good at basketball since Aaron Kraft, and he's a full-fledged doctor now. All right, it's been years. It's been since I was a kid. Ohio State hasn't been good at basketball.
I don't know. Ohio State fans had the better year. How? That's
Losing
just
on
that
losing
is
on a
just
kick.
clickbait. That is just clickbait bullshit, bro. That is clickbait bullshit, bro. And I understand I'm entertaining it right now. But no, I want him to stand on his I want him to eat his words.
Roddy
Because
Gale Jr.
you look stupid. You look stupid.
Yeah, go ahead and ask Roddy Gale Jr.
Genius.
if he's a Buckeye or a Wolverine, and you'll get your answer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
low key, my third tweaker might be Axel after how fast he answered Roddy Gale Jr. Just that was insane how fast he did it, bro. That was hilarious.
Bro, he looked at him like, bro, really?
And then Roddy Gale Jr.'s response, bro, you're 6'9". Like, anyway, fun
Bro,
team that will
those two and McKinney are hilarious.
No, they're
That
hilarious.
one guy on TikTok had me rolling.
They're hilarious. They're hilarious. But yeah, no, that's all I had to say was just shut up.
Hmm.
Talking about Ohio State had a better year. Just salty. Just salty. It's beautiful to see. Just Ohio State fans just crashing out. Crashing out. Because we show we can do it in football and basketball. And we're about to show that we can do it on ice too. So
Yeah.
with that as
Well,
you
that's it from me. I'm gonna just throw it to the two Michigan fans to end the podcast as the new national champions. That's it from me. Don't got much else.
all right, bet.
Yeah,
But yeah,
only thing I gotta say is this
Hmm.
what is it? It's not focusing, dog. The hell is it?
that's me in high school next to Jordan Poole.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
back in them days.
yeah. Them days.
Hmm.
That was the
That
what? That was the
that
year
that
that buzzer beater.
yeah, that was I think that was that same year. Like that was
It
the
was that
summer
year.
before, yeah, summer before going into that same year when he hit that.
Oh, you were talking about the photo. I thought you meant the year they made the natty.
I gotta find my photos with like I gotta find my photos. I have photos when I was younger, like middle school, at a football game with like Karis LeVert, Zach Irvin, Derek Walton Jr. I got them. They were just walking. They were just walking, just in the football stadium during the
Yo,
game.
my
We could
old
do it.
varsity head coach, he used to live with Duncan Robinson. So sometimes he would bring Duncan Robinson and Mo Wagner to to the school while we were practicing. And that's when I figured out Duncan Robinson was like 6'8". Because I walked up behind him and I said, is that oh my gosh.
Oh, this guy.
On Facebook is crazy.
On Facebook.
But yeah, no, they oh,
Go
been a long
blue.
time coming.
Go
We did
blue.
it.
He's
We
gonna
did it.
he's gonna keep saying we. It's whatever. We accept visitors. We accept people to hop on the bandwagon. So come on now. Yeah, no. Continue to run up socials, TikTok, Instagram, like, comment, subscribe. Um, and yeah, spam in the comments, Michigan Natty back to back. Spam Michigan Natty and back to back. Spam those two things. And yeah, as always, stay fly.